I'm Dr. Susan Goldstein, the FMLE Course Director, and I'm here to introduce you to the new FMLE Clinical Encounter Card, a new tool developed to assist our preceptors in providing important formative feedback to our students. So, what is formative feedback? Formative feedback is a form of assessment provided during the learning process, usually involving qualitative feedback with a focus on specific content and performance. This contrasts with summative assessment, which is more a measure of educational outcome involving grades or the equivalent. In response to students' requests for more formative feedback and at the request of the Evaluations Committee at the Faculty of Medicine, we have created a clinical encounter card to help document your observations of your students' performance during a clinical encounter. A similar card was piloted in the clinical skills course at U of T last year. The students found these very valuable and have been very appreciative of the time their preceptors have taken to complete these forms and document their observations. The FMLE Clinical Encounter Card was created to focus on assessing the skills associated with performing a patient-centered clinical encounter, one of our FMLE course objectives. All FMLE teachers are expected to observe at least one clinical encounter with their student and to complete this FMLE Clinical Encounter Card, review their findings with the student, and provide the student with a copy of the completed card, which they will then submit to the FMLE office. The card is intended to be used as a tool for the basis of a feedback discussion between you and your student. As this new FMLE Clinical Encounter Card is a form of formative feedback, the card does not contribute to the student's final FMLE grade. However, it is a new compulsory element of the course. We recommend that the card be completed by the end of your student's third session, allowing the student maximal benefit from the feedback they will be receiving. The form has two parts. Section 1 allows for narrative commentary on items done well and areas for improvement. Section 2 provides some anchors on a 5-point Likert scale. The PDF document of the Clinical Encounter Card can be found in the appendix of the FMLE Preceptor syllabus. Because student reflection and self-assessment continues to develop as a significant element in the medical school curriculum, we have also created a student version of the FMLE Clinical Encounter Card. We encourage students to reflect and complete one of these forms after their observed encounter. This can form the basis of a rich discussion between you and the student as you each share your thoughts on the student's performance as documented on each of your respective cards. You may find that your student does not wish to use the student version of the card, and this is totally acceptable, as the use of the student version of the FMLE Clinical Encounter Card is optional. We would encourage you to practice the use of this new card by participating in the following exercise. First, we'd like you to click on the embedded link and watch a short video of a clinical encounter between interviewer and patient. As you're observing this encounter, please complete an FMLE Clinical Encounter Card. When you've finished completing the FMLE Clinical Encounter Card, then link back to the slide presentation where you can compare your assessment of the interviewer's performance with their own self-assessment and also with a sample assessment done by another preceptor. So, we assume you have observed the video of the clinical encounter. Here is the student FMLE CEC that was completed by the interviewer. The interviewer has reflected and made some notes on her assessment of her performance. Please take a minute and review her comments. You might wish to compare the interviewer's self-evaluation to the observations you made and documented on your own card. Here is part 2 of her card. This is how the interviewer marked her own performance using the anchors provided. Did your assessment align with the interviewer's self-assessment? Here we have a sample preceptor clinical encounter card completed by another physician who observed this video encounter. Please take a moment to review her comments. You might find some concordance between your observations and those of this physician preceptor. Here is part 2 of the sample CEC. It is interesting to note that both interviewers' self-assessment and the preceptor's assessment were the same, but this may not be the case in many instances. We'd like to thank our contributors and thank you for taking the time to review this video. Feel free to direct any questions you may have either to Brandy Corbett, our FMLE coordinator, or myself, the course director. We hope you will enjoy your FMLE and find this new card a useful teaching tool.